You tell them online now. Good evening, and welcome. I have got David Lee Jones on, and I'm sorry about that just now, which sometimes they do have to have a laugh.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Hi, guys. Yeah, that's fine. Brilliant. Sorry, say that again.
sir. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. David, I was reading your biography and everything about you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
country, country music is kind of like in the UK. It, the country music scene in the UK is not what I think it should be, but in the USA, it's really big in it. In the USA,
Oh yes. Oh yes. Definitely.
and what actually made you go into country music? You could have picked something else.
Well, actually, country was the second genre that I was into. I grew up listening to country from my mom and dad, and as I got into my teenage years, like every teenager does, we go through that little rebellion stage, and I started playing hard rock. I was a drummer for a little while, and then I saw Ozzy Osbourne in concert when I was about 12 or 13, and I started playing guitar at that point. And I played hard rock all the way through high school, and I opened the show for a country band with my rock band, and the guitar player from that band asked me if I had ever thought about playing country, and I was like, no, because I mean I was a metalhead at that point, and he asked me, he said, would you mind coming out and just sitting in with us one night and rehearse and see how it works out? And I went out and they played music that I actually enjoyed playing, and I started playing country at that point. And even then, that was like the first time that I had ever made music and made money at the same time. So, Connor, you're gonna have to get down. I'm sorry, my dog's all over me right now. But we um we
No,
started playing.
that's okay.
Yeah, we started playing country at that point, and I've been playing country ever since. And that was almost 30 years ago. That's a long time.
Gosh. And you kind of like, you've had, really some good songs out. I've been listening to them. And lately, what you've been up to, I've been going onto your website and everything. You've got a big following, ain't you?
Um, I hope so. I mean, sometimes the numbers don't always tell the truth, but I actually I have a regular following that react on my Facebook pages and my Instagram and all that. So I'm hoping it's as big as the numbers say they are, but sometimes you never know.
Well, you've got a fan page in the UK. Do you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That
You've got a fan page in.
that is awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's been there for 6 months now, and you didn't even know that. You didn't even
No,
know that there was a fan page of you on Facebook in the UK.
I had no idea. No, I would really love if you could send me a link to that. I would really love to check that out because I had no idea. I really didn't. Wow.
Yeah, but well, there you go. You never know, do you? You never know, how people react.
Right.
Um, tell us about the Carolina. Tell us about the Carolina Music Awards.
Um. That's it's an award. I'm gonna try to move around the house and get my dogs in a different spot. Aubrey, can you come get the dogs, please?
Uh,
But
it's
let
a
me go back.
pleasure to have you on.
I'm gonna go back here to my office. That way, it's a little more private. But they're in there. What for? Because I'm on a podcast right this minute. Um, I've got my green screen behind me because I do some streaming and I use green screen effects when I do my streaming. But the Carolina Music Awards is actually over here in the States. I live in North Carolina, and we have South Carolina just below us, and it covers just Carolina music artists from North Carolina and South Carolina, and we have the nominations and voting every year, and so far for the past 5 years, well, we didn't have an award show through COVID for um, 2020 and 21 for obvious reasons. But since 2018, I have held the title of Best Country Male Artist for the Carolina Music Awards. And the nominations open up in like February, I think, and you can nominate your favorite Carolina artist. And I guess they total up the nominations at that point and then decide who are actually going to be contestants in the category. And so far, since 2018, I've had enough nominations, and um, luckily, I've had enough votes to win every year. And in 2018, um, country star Luke Combs was actually in that category with me when we won. And in 2019, some local artists from right here around my area, Brian Mayer, which was recognized by CMT, Country Music Television, he was in that category. And also Mikhail Buck, who was on season 15 of The Voice. He was in that category as well when we won. And we just had an award show last Saturday night, not this past Saturday, but Saturday before. And luckily we won again this year. So I've collected 3 trophies in 5 years, and we're real happy about that.
Yeah, yeah. When you were kind of like growing up and everything through your childhood, you was a fan of Elvis, weren't you?
Oh yes, yes, big fan of Elvis.
You went to Madison Square Garden. What was that like? Because only time I see that is when there's a concert on or when they got WWE wrestling there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was. I was so young. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember a lot of lights and a lot of crying women.
Fine women.
Yeah. So after that show, Elvis actually released it on vinyl, and my mom and dad purchased that album for me, and I would stand. We had like a little small electric piano organ type thing, and it had a stool that you sit on and all that. And I would actually stand on that organ stool and pretend that was my stage. And I learned that whole concert word for word. And I would stand on that organ stool and pretend I was Elvis, and I would do that whole concert from Madison Square Gardens. And that's kind of where I started performing at that point. The kids in the neighborhood would be there, and I would just be like, I'd be the one that wanted to show off all the time. So I'd put that record on, and I'd do my whole Elvis thing, and they really got a kick out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And also, what was it like, kind of like growing up, and kind of being involved in, starting off with, like, kind of into trying to, think about your music career, about the, because rock really, rock music, yes, it took off, with Ozzy Osbourne and everybody else,
Right.
But later out, it fizzled out. It fizzled out a little bit, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, when I was a small child, um I was introduced to country music through my parents. Um my dad was a big Hank Williams fan, and we would, like, when we go, like, to my grandma's house or go to visit family, and we have to drive for a long period of time. Um, we'd listen to Hank Williams and Conway Twitty and Dolly Parton and Loretta Lynn, and my mom and dad would be singing in the front seat, and it was just kind of instilled in me at a young age that that uh, music was real important. Neither one of my parents were musicians, but they liked to sing to the radio, and it just kind of put that vibe in me that, at a young age I was already liking the music. So the older I got, the more I wanted to be involved. And when I got old enough to, like, go to concerts, I would I've been to a Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn concert when I was real little with my mom and dad. And then once I was old enough to, like, go to concerts on my own, I would go to concerts of every type of music and just kind of soak it all in. But it was actually Ozzy Osbourne show that I went to, and Randy Rhoads was playing guitar, and that's kind of what made it click for me, to see the reaction of the crowd to Ozzy and Randy interacting together. At that point, at that age in my life, I wanted to be a lead guitar player just like Randy Rhoads. So that's kind of where it clicked. And then the older I got, the more I kind of wanted to be out front and have my own show, instead of, being on the side or behind somebody else just playing somebody else's music. I wanted to kind of do it on my own. So that's kind of where that all started.
Who inspired you most?
Who influenced me most? Well, it depends. It really depends on what aspect of my career we're talking about. The actual entertainer
You must have a
part.
favorite. Yeah.
Excuse me.
You must have your like a favorite, do you?
Well, I do. In today's country music, I would have to say my favorite would be George Strait, because
Right.
his country and my country are what I would call the same type of music. That's the kind of music I write. That's the kind of music I like. Is like the same stuff that George Strait puts out. But my all-time favorite would have to be Elvis, as far as the performance aspect and the show, and just like the whole package of being an entertainer. Elvis would have to be my all-time favorite.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, you kind of like you appeared on you've done television, you've done radio, you've done podcasts and everything. What is the highest kind of audience that you ever played in?
Um, I really don't know. Um, we did. We used to do this big club when I was playing lead guitar for a band called 8 Second Ride, and it would hold a lot of people. I honestly don't know how many people could fit inside that place, but we would open for, like, all the big national acts to come through, like the Keith Urban, Blake Shelton, all the big stars now, and there was always, like, so many people in the building when we were playing there. Um, that would I would even hate to put a number on it. I mean, there was a lot of people, and that was probably in my career. That's probably the best audiences that I've ever had was in that in that building in Raleigh, North Carolina. But
Yeah,
I did sing
yeah,
the national anthem out in North Dakota at a race car track, and that was probably the biggest audience I've ever had.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant, really good. Um, have you played any with anybody that you went, wow, he's amazing or she's amazing?
I have, um, and oddly enough, it's not a big star. Um, Last year, I had a guitar player that I pulled out of Nashville to go and do a few weeks on the road with me. His name was Ben Curran, and he's from Nebraska originally, and he is probably the best guitar player that I had ever been on stage with. He was just phenomenal. As you know, Charlie Daniels had a song out called "The Devil Went Down to Georgia,"
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm sure everybody in the world knows that song, and all the stuff that Charlie Daniels did on the fiddle. This guy Ben, he played it note for note on a guitar, and it was just fascinating to me. I had never seen anyone play that song as close to the original on the guitar that I had ever seen, and it's it was just amazing. So I would have to say Ben Curran is probably the wow musician for me. He really is.
You did an opener for Blake Shelton. What was that
Yes.
like?
Um, it was it was really fun. Opening for guys like that, and um, for fear of sounding arrogant, it's not as fun anymore as it was then, because my mentality is a little different now. But when I opened for Blake Shelton, it was back in the late '90s, and it was just as that song Austin that he released, had just started moving up the charts, and back then, of course, I'm sure Blake's the same way now, but he was so funny. Um, Backstage, we all laughed and joked, and we took a bunch of pictures, and he would take his finger and stick in my drummer's ear and give him wet willies during the pictures and all that. He was really a funny guy. He was hilarious, and of course, he's still funny today. But I feel, um, from where he was then and where he is now, he's probably not able to do stuff like that now because of the the stardom that he
Popularity.
had. But but my mentality has changed since back then too, because I'm at a point now where I feel like we're all the same. They might make millions of dollars and I might make hundreds of dollars, but we're all the same. We're all musicians, we're all people, and we're doing what we do to make a living and pay the bills. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I get starstruck every now and then when I bump into somebody in Nashville, or if we're out playing somewhere, or if I get an opening spot for somebody that I've never opened for or have been around,
Mm.
I still have that wow moment. So
Do
I'm
you
still
think? Sorry. Do you
humble.
think where Blake Shelton went wrong? Now in the last few years, it's when he did that film Christmas Shoes, because that made him a big star, but also he came big headed with it, didn't he? Really?
Well, I can honestly tell you I haven't seen that movie, But
And you?
no, I haven't. But I don't know. Because like I say, I haven't been around Blake since the late '90s, and it was just that one time that we opened for him. I I honestly couldn't tell you if I thought he was big headed or not, but um, making making movies will definitely put you up to to that point where it's hard to go out in public. I do know that. So um,
Yeah, yeah,
it may not be the fact that he's big headed. It may just be the fact that um, he's gotten to a popularity status that um, in the business they like to say everybody wants a piece of you, and
yeah.
and just like
Do you want a piece? Do you want a piece of that?
I would like to, uh, but at the same time, I enjoy going out to stores and being able to walk in and if people recognize me, it makes me feel good, and I'll stop and talk. And there was an incident out in Casper, Wyoming, a few years ago. I had just put a song out on the radio, and I was walking into a Walmart because at the time I had a nice tour bus and I was looking for a TV to put in my tour bus, and I was standing in Walmart looking at TVs that were on clearance because I figure if I can get one for half the price, that's the best way to go. So I'm standing there, and this lady walks up to me and she says, "Are you David Lee Jones?" And I just look at her like, "How do you know who I am?" And she was telling me that they play my music on the radio, and she saw my bus out front, and then she started looking me up on the internet and found pictures. And before I could leave out of there, I had already taken at least 15 or 20 pictures with people and signed autographs and everything else. And that was like a whole different experience for me because that had never happened to me as far as people um, recognizing who I was and wanted to take pictures and have me sign my name for them and everything. And it's a really good feeling. And I would be lying if I said I didn't want a piece of that. But at the same time, um, I'm just a country boy from North Carolina, and I get along with everybody. And I would hate to get to a point to where I couldn't walk into a store without people, crowding around me and and I not be able to actually enjoy, going in there and shopping the way I want to shop. But at the same time, in the same respect, I would kind of love for that to happen because I've never had that kind of recognition before. So it's kind of half and half, really, I guess you would say.
What we all want to know in the UK is that, are there any plans for you to come to the UK in the near future?
Um, there's always plans. There's a lot of factors that go into that, like money for one. And I don't have any kind of booking contacts over there at all. And like to make a trip like that, there's so much that goes into getting something like that started. First, obviously, we need contacts first, and some kind of booking agent that could put me over there. And then once we get there, then we're looking at equipment, the venues, and transportation. And I mean, I would love to go, and that's always been probably a goal of mine to go to the UK, um, go to Australia, just anywhere besides the United States. Honestly, I mean, I love my country, but I would love to take my music and play it in another country to give people what I call here at home the David Lee Jones experience. And we don't put on great big stadium shows like a Kenny Chesney or anything like that. We play a lot smaller venues, but I try to give people that big stadium experience inside the little rooms. So yeah, that's always been a plan of mine. I just I have to, I guess, be in contact with the right people to make that happen, and I haven't been able to do that yet. But I really want to. I really do.
Great, great. And where is the got a question here for you? Where is the most exciting place you ever played?
Um, I would have to say the $1 Million Cowboy Bar in Jackson, Wyoming. It's it's an amazing place. It really is. It's like if you've ever watched the old cowboy movies, um, walking inside that place reminds you of that. And it is so country that their bar stools are actual saddles, horse saddles, and it's amazing. It really is.
Where'd you get the idea for your songs? With your songs too? Where'd you get all the ideas? Are you like a person? You know, I speak to quite a few country western people, country stars, and they say I could be in the shower, I could be in the bath, I could be driving in the car. You know, where'd you get your ideas to?
That's that pretty much sums it up. I mean, it just depends. Like on my Carolina Sunset record, my wife and I were riding down the road and we were looking over the trees and the sun was going down and we immediately said, this would make a good song. So she and I riding in the car, um, wrote Carolina Sunset on the way home one evening. I was driving. I used to be a truck driver before I started playing music full time, and I um, I was driving my truck one day, and a song popped in my head about my late wife, my first wife. She passed away with cancer in 2013, and left
Mm.
me with small kids. So I was kind of. It wasn't long after she passed, and I kind of had the thought in my head of just about everything that had happened, and all of a sudden the chorus of a song popped in my head. I could hear the words, I could hear myself singing it, I could hear the music, everything um, involved in the song, I could hear it. So I jotted the words for the chorus down, and I sent it to who is now my wife, Amy. I sent it to her, and she ended up writing the whole song, and I wrote the chorus. So I give her a lot of credit for that song, and that's actually the last track on my Carolina Sunset record. Shannon song is what it's called. So it happens sporadically. I mean, I can hear. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bobby Bones in the UK, but he has a
Yeah,
radio
yeah.
show. Well, I was listening to his radio show one morning, and he was telling a story about somebody he knew, and all of a sudden, I was thinking this would make a good song. So I wrote a song from the Bobby Bones show, and it's just random and sporadic. I'll get an idea, and sometimes the whole song comes to me, and I can sit down and write the whole song and know exactly what it's going to sound like. And sometimes it's maybe one or two lines at the time, and it'll take me months to put the whole song together. But it's all just random. It just comes to me at sporadic times.
Yeah, let's take a break and let's listen to Brandy on My Mind.
All right.
Wow, there you go.
That's awesome. Actually,
And
a friend of mine named Gary Brady wrote that song, and we're really proud to record that song for him. He's an amazing songwriter.
yeah, yeah, brilliant. Um, what was the reason? Have you kind of like any songs about your wife, about your partner? Um, what does your wife or your partner think about your music?
She is really supportive. And she she actually, after winning this third award, she has gone above and beyond to um, reach out to TV stations and newspapers and try to set up so many interviews for me. I actually did an interview this morning, well, this afternoon actually, um, at the local newspaper. I went in and done an interview with them, and I'm doing another interview tomorrow with a TV station. And she supports me 100%. When I'm gone for 4 or 5 weeks at the time, she's here holding down the fort, as we say, and her and the kids have been really supportive in what I do. In fact, she is the reason that I have gone as far as I have gone so far, because she has pushed me to do all this, because she recognizes that I have a talent, and she recognized that I have a passion to play music and want to connect with people, and she has been behind me and pushed me to get out there and do it as much as I could. So she's been very supportive up to this point. So whatever tomorrow brings, we don't know, but today everything's good.
Well, what we're going to do, David, we just think that you're very talented, and we in the UK here, I'm going to promise you that we'll get your music out there in the UK, and do everything we can, because we think you got a wonderful talent, and I think you should be deserved more than what you're getting at the moment, because you have got a talent, mate. Honestly, a
Well,
very
thank
good
you.
talent.
That means much.
That's
It
the
really.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So what's it like? Last couple of questions I've got for you, actually. What's it like when you go out touring? Is there anything that you can tell us that you haven't told your wife?
No, honestly, honestly, it's really just your normal. If I don't know how the music venues are in the UK, but here, people go in, they drink and dance and listen to music, and um, when I'm out on the road, I'm as professional as I can be, um, because even though I'm not a Garth Brooks or a George Strait or an Alan Jackson or somebody like that, I try to conduct myself as if I were, and so it's all business. I say 95% of the time, and the other 5%, like if it's just me and my band hanging out, we'll go bowling, or we'll go out to the mall and eat Chinese food. Everybody's fond of Chinese food, and we'll just be regular people. There's really nothing out of the ordinary that happens. I've I'm a happily married man. I've got 3 kids at home, so it's just a job for me. I go out and we set the shows up and we play, we tear them all down and move to the next city. And I'm getting to an age now where I like to rest a lot. So when um, when we're not on stage, a lot of times I'm just maybe kicked back with my feet up. I enjoy playing Call of Duty on Xbox, and I do carry an Xbox with me. So I spend a lot of time playing Xbox when I'm not performing.
Yeah. How many people are on your tour bus?
There's actually only 4 of us, and we don't travel in a bus anymore, unfortunately. Um, the engine went bad in 2018, and we really haven't made the money to actually replace the engine, so it's been broke down for a long time. But we all travel in a Chevrolet Suburban, and there's only 4 of us. I do all the driving, and we just travel from one city to the next. And my band members have all offered to drive, but I'm the type of person, if anything happens, I would rather be responsible than to be put in a position where I'm looking at somebody else to ask him, well, what happened? I would rather be the one driving, and if something happens, I take full responsibility. But the plan is to eventually get the bus back on the road because it's a whole lot more comfortable ride than ride the way we are. But we have to do the best we can with what we got. So um, we're doing it the best we can.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Glenn, has just left me a message, and he says, "Hi, I'm from Canada, and I love country music. Can you tell me what is your most embarrassing moment?"
Most embarrassing moment. I think maybe falling off stage. I I have fallen off stage before. It was actually before I went solo. I was playing lead guitar in the 8 Second Ride band that I had, and I was playing, and there comes a point in a musician's life when you start feeling the music, and I was feeling what I was playing. And if you've ever watched Stevie Ray Vaughan play guitar, he closes his eyes a lot when he plays. And if a guitar player is closing his eyes, he's feeling what's going on. And I closed my eyes, and I was too close to the edge of the stage, and I took one step forward, and I was on the floor. And I never stopped playing. It was graceful. I fell gracefully, and I never stopped playing. But when I opened my eyes and I was on the floor, I could literally feel the color rush out of my body because I was so embarrassed. So that would have to be my most embarrassing moment is falling off the stage and having all these people watch me fall.
Um, do you have any rituals at all before going on stage? And what's it like behind the stage? What things do you get up to?
um, I I always wear the same color socks. that I guess you could call that a ritual. I wear black socks on stage. Let's see. Backstage, most of the time we're just laughing and joking. This new band that I have, I've only played 3 shows with them, so I haven't really learned what they do pre-show yet. But for myself, I pray, and I always have a bag of like cough drops. So I always put a cough drop in my mouth before I go on stage because it helps my throat, especially if I haven't done any warm ups. Sometimes I'll do vocal warm ups in the shower beforehand with the steam, but when I don't do warm ups, the cough drops help a lot. But that's about it. Black socks, a cough drop, and I pray.
Okay. What's it? Hi, David. Love your music. Been following you for the last couple of years. Can you tell me what is your have you sorry have you been on any talent shows? And if so, what ones were they? And what do you think of the talent shows?
Um, I have been asked by many to go on town, and I um I actually signed up for The Voice, and we were supposed to do a telephone interview, or I was supposed to do some kind of interview or video or something and send it. And at the time, I was down in Georgia, and my telephone service was really bad. And I filmed a video and like a little small, I guess, video bio of me. And when I went to send it and email it, it never went through. So I actually missed that whole opportunity of being on The Voice. But that that honestly is the only time I ever tried to get on a talent show. Um, I like them, and I've got some friends now that have like been on American Idol. Scotty McCreery won American Idol one year, and he lives like maybe 2 hours from me. Um, and there's Carrie Underwood and Buddy Jewell was on Nashville Star, and just so many that have won those talent shows like that. And I actually enjoy watching them. There's a lot of talent that goes through there, and I think it's wonderful that somebody could go on a talent show and win, and it helps them get their career started and take off. For me personally, I'm old school, I guess, and I would like to be able to do it on my own and prove to myself that I could do it on my own. And if it never happens for me, you know, I can honestly say that I tried my best and didn't have any help. So it's it's really, you can look at it one way, and at the same time I'm on the other side of the fence. I think it's great for these shows to be there and help people start their careers. But at the same time, for those that are like me that want to prove to themselves that they can do it on their own, um, it's also good not to go up there, because if you're not on a talent show and you become a big star, like say a George Strait or Garth Brooks, who never, the talent shows weren't around when they were doing that, then that says a lot within that particular person, that they were able to keep pushing forward and make it without the help of TV or anything like that. So I'm on both sides of the fence. I love the talent shows. I love watching them. I just uh, I just don't feel like that was something I wanted to do.
Great, great. Um, what else have we got? Marina from Philadelphia said, "I love your music. Could you tell me, what is your waiver when before you're going on stage? Do you get any drink supplied to you, or something to eat, chocolates and stuff? And what do you have?"
Um, I drink water most of the time. I like sweet tea, and being that she's from Philadelphia, um, raspberry tea is real popular up there, and I drink raspberry tea. I'm actually going to be in Pennsylvania, a couple hours from Philadelphia, over in Grantville, right outside of Hershey, September 16th and 17th, and we're playing a place called the Winter Circle Saloon, and they have the best raspberry tea that I have ever drank. So I'll definitely have raspberry tea before I go on stage, and I usually drink water. And I've just recently become fond of mango body armor drink. It's really good, and it keeps me from getting, um, I guess, heat exhaustion, because it's kind of like Gatorade, and it replaces the electrolytes and stuff in your body, and it just tastes really good. But mostly it's water. I just drink water. I'm not a big beer drinker or a whiskey drinker or anything like that. Um, I will have an adult beverage or a shot if somebody offers one, but it's mostly water. It really is.
Okay. Uh, Collins, from the UK, is asking, um, do you have a faith, and do you ever use it while on your travels?
Do I have a faith, as in religion?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, um, I'm not a big church goer, and I guess because of the faith I do have, I believe in Christianity, and because I believe the way I do, um, I don't feel it's appropriate for me to be in a bar on a Saturday night playing, although I don't indulge in the things that other people do in that bar. Um, I don't feel it's appropriate for me to be in a bar on Saturday night and in church on Sunday morning, even though
Yeah.
I do believe, I do believe who I believe in, and I live my life right, and I do the things that um, the Bible, insists that I do. I just don't feel like in other people's eyes, because not everybody in a church is is I, for lack of a better word, not everybody in a church is a Christian. So, and
Yeah. Yeah.
where we're from, um, the Bible tells you you don't judge, but some of the biggest judges are sitting in church beside you. So,
Yeah.
in other people's eyes, I know how I would look, um, knowing knowing that they know I've been in the club the night before, and I'm sitting in church praying beside them the next morning. So I I don't do that, and but I do pray, and I know the way I live my life. I know where I'm going in the afterlife. I guess that's the best way to answer that
Right.
question.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I promise you, we won't be long. Just nearly finished now. Um, can you tell me? Oh, sorry. It's Roger wants to know.
I just had a phone call. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Roger wants to know. Who's it to? Have you played at the Grand Opry?
No, I haven't. That's always been a dream of mine. Not necessarily to play as David Lee Jones, but just to play on that stage. I'd be happy just playing guitar for somebody else. I've always wanted to play the Opry. I have toured the Opry, and I've stood in that circle, that what we call the magic circle, where Hank Williams and all the greats have stood. But as far as actually being on stage playing the Opry, I never have, and I always wanted to. And I'm hoping before I die, I'll have that opportunity, but we'll see.
Okay, David. Thank you so much for joining me. It's
Thank you.
uh, it's been a pleasure to know you, and hopefully we'll get you back again soon. Talk more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And hopefully, before too much longer, I'll get over to the UK and make a whole lot of new friends.
You will do. Thank you.